Welcome to the Generation X-Wing podcast. Tonight I'm your host, Steve 3, and I am going to be joined with
Jamie Pale Rider,
as well as
Steve Hose-Nose Lewis.
and not forgetting
Rob Williams.
good evening, guys. How are you?
Hello.
Gentlemen.
Well, I'm
Gentlemen,
hosting tonight.
Doctor.
So that means only one thing. That means it's my pick, finally, after all this waiting. And tonight, I will be subjecting everybody to what I find to be a nostalgic old movie. It's the 1987 sci-fi drama comedy, Batteries Not Included.
I'm curious why you chose this movie, sir.
Okay, so I'm going to get into that. So the reason I chose this
Okay.
movie is I haven't seen it probably since I saw it. And I always remember it being so... That's actually, yeah, what a statement. When I first saw it. I mean, I probably watched it a few more times when I was younger, but I just remember it being really cool and really fun and just amazing. And I needed to go and see it again because that's what we do here. If you're not aware, here at Generation X-Wing Podcast, we like to review our nostalgic movies from the 80s and 90s and see if they still hold up in the way we remember it in our brains. So really and truly, that's why I picked this, because I'm like, man, I remember that movie. I used to love that movie. Let's watch that movie.
First
And
off,
here we
Tony
are.
says hello. Tony in the house.
Tony.
Oh, hi, Tony. Sorry, I didn't have the group chat on. Sorry. Tony,
Galactic
hey.
Cantina, all the way from Sweden, is here.
Wow.
Hello. Hey, weirdos in the house.
Oh, that's good
Hello,
news.
weirdos.
Because
Yeah.
Hey Weirdos were the only ones who
Yeah.
seem to be semi-excited about my choice of movie. So that's good. That's good. And I'll be watching the chat just to see if they had the same experience as me. But first of all, let's go around the horn as we normally do. Before I get into the movie itself, I just want to know, Jamie, when was the first time you've watched this?
the first time I saw it was when it first came out on home video. So like 87, 88.
Okay. And the last time you saw this, before we did this?
It was when I saw it.
Okay.
No, it was yesterday.
Yeah,
It's like
but
I watched it again yesterday.
Before we watched the show, like, have you watched it since your first time?
No.
No. Okay.
No, I literally watched it when it came out on home video, and then this week.
Right on. Rob, what about you?
First time I watched this was yesterday, and the last time I watched this was yesterday.
Okay, that's
Yep,
awesome.
new movie for me.
Who's knows? First time, last time.
First time was, as you say, I saw it in the cinema. I was 11, and I probably went with my buddy Colin Pengelly at Village Tree Mall Theater, which is now a parking lot.
Where's that?
Did you watch it
St.
multiple
Albert,
times?
Alberta.
Did you watch it multiple times, or is it?
I think we guys just saw it once in the theater, but I know I watched at least once or twice on VHS.
I watched
And
this
I have
movie
not
multiple
watched it in
grades.
years.
Okay. All right. Well, for those that don't join in and watch it when we do the show, and they may want to watch it live, let's just go through this a little bit. This was a movie which had the name Steven Spielberg attached to it. Steven Spielberg was the executive producer. He didn't direct it, along with Kathleen Kennedy as well. But this movie started off as an idea for a show that Spielberg was doing. It was a TV show and that ran for a couple of years. And that's where this came from. And he thought, we'll get into that later, but he thought this would be a great idea for a movie. And here we go. It had a budget of $25 million. It made at the box office $65.1 million. So it wasn't a flop, guys.
Nope.
It was not a flop. It was released in 1987, as I said, and it came out in the box office at the same time as we saw Eddie Murphy's Raw coming out. There wasn't really like a big movie I could find that was going to swamp this thing absolutely, and that's why it didn't do better. But to be honest with you, it might have been one of the most funnest things to take your kids and go and see. And bear in mind as well, the 1987. Yeah,
Really?
wow, we can get into that too. It is a kids' movie, it's a kids' movie. Simple as that. The thing for me on this one is, and I do too, but I didn't when I was a kid. And that's why this is really interesting to me, because when I watched it as a kid, it was all about the robots. It was all about the spaceships. So you know, and it's not a short movie either, guys. It's like 1 hour and 47 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, this movie goes on. Let's get into a quick synopsis, so then we can get into the movie and start asking our usual questions. So I have this one written out. I'm going to read from it because I didn't steal it. I love the way I'm bouncing around, by the way. This is really
cool.
I
noticed that. I wasn't going to say anything. Your camera seems to be trying to catch
it's
you.
It's like we're on a roller coaster ride. I'm loving it. So anyway, here's my synopsis of the movie. Hopefully it does it justice. The residents of the only standing apartment block in the middle of a neighborhood demolishment are resisting the corporate giants who are trying to build their skyscrapers and redesign the whole neighborhood. There's an old couple that own a cafe diner, and they have done for many, many years, and they don't want to leave. Faye, the wife, is suffering from dementia, and Frank really can't stand the thought of leaving all these memories behind and having to get out of there. They're also being subjected to some brutal tactics of a local street gang who are being paid to do this, led by Carlos, the ass, a young punk who wants to escape this whole environment by proving he's like a real badass to the corporate chump that's trying to get all these people out so he can build his building. Things get bad. Frank wishes that someone would come in and help him. And one night, after a frustrating time of smashing vases and throwing things off tables, and his wishes are answered in the most fantastic way. And that's when we get into the real crux of what I think is Batteries Not Included. Does that sound good to you?
That was a lovely synopsis, by the way.
Well done.
Thank you.
You're setting the standard here, sir.
Rob, you didn't seem very impressed with the movie.
It was okay. It was all right. There's a lot of things I enjoyed about it, and a lot of things I thought was just like close but no cigar. It was kind of, to say this is a kids movie, I think is not correct. But I did predict. I guess I predicted after I watched this movie, I go, this should have been on one of Spielberg's shows, if you know the show I'm talking about. Yeah. And then I find out, later down the road. But it's just like, I don't know. There's something about this that just it was like, okay, you hit it into the park, great, but you could have had a home run on this one. So that's how I felt. Just Steve, quickly, and then we'll dive into it.
Yeah. Steve, what about you? How did this go down for you after you've watched it before? You weren't a virgin like Rob. How did it go down watching it this time?
It was fine this time. I enjoyed it. It's cute. It's a fun, cute movie. I still think it's a kid's movie. I think there's elements that kids won't get, but I mean, a lot of kids' movies are like that. I thought it did go on a little too long. 147 for a pretty simple story was maybe a bit too long, but I mean, those cute little baby robots needed screen time. So,
right. Jamie, what about you? Longtime veteran of the movie, watching it again for the first time in a while.
Yeah, I had fun with it this time. I mean, I didn't remember a lot of it other than the flying robots and whatnot, but yeah, it was a lot darker than I remember. Like it's a pretty depressing setup with these people being basically like forced from their homes by real estate developers and the street gang, and like you said, it's a pretty brutal tactics for like just an old couple who've clearly been there their whole lives, and a pregnant mother and a struggling artist.
Right, it's not just the old couple, right? So it was
tough. It was tough to watch.
It was.
What's that thumping noise? By the way,
the bunnies are hitting Jamie's desk. Maybe, I'm not sure. But I mean, one of the things we've mentioned is this TV show. So I mean, just to get into it, there was a TV show that was around back in 1985, and it ran for, I think, 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. There was 2 seasons of it, and each season was like 25 to 30 minute episodes, and 24 episodes. So this is similar to like Twilight Zone or Outer Limits or whatever, like that. And there was a lot of people involved with this. This is one of Spielberg's things, and John Williams composed the theme tune. He also did the musical scores for some of the events, and there was a lot of people that got involved with directing it and doing music for it. There's some big names in it. I personally had never heard of Amazing Stories. So if you guys ever heard of Amazing Stories?
Oh yeah, I watched it. I watched every episode. one of my favorite episodes of Amazing Stories was the one where they were in the bomber, and he had a cartoonist sitting at the belly of the bomber, the belly gun, and basically magically he creates things from his cartoons that saves his buddies in the plane.
Wait a second. Wasn't that Memphis Belle, the movie?
I don't know if it's Memphis Belle, but yeah, it was kind of like just before Roger Rabbit. So they're kind of putting animation to this. And when I saw this, I'm like, this, and I knew Steven Spielberg was involved. I'm like, this sounds like it should have been on Amazing Stories. Immediately with this, what I said. And then I find out, I sorry, Steve, I did a little bit of research.
Of course you did, Rob.
It's just my natural nature.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, yes, it was supposed to be this, but they liked it so much. And it is a good story. It's a great story. But I was it's a little long.
I feel it's an amazing story, right? It is an amazing story. and it is an Outer Limits or a Twilight Zone story. The depth we had to get into regarding, the couple and the struggles that everybody in the apartment is having, I think is what kind of dragged it out. But yeah, I agree. It was a little bit long-winded, and it's a little bit a little bit harsh. But again, I remember being a kid and just loving every minute of it.
I was a little bit long-winded. About Amazing Stories. I don't know if Steve or Jamie have watched it, because it says here Weirdos watched it. But did you guys watch it?
I remember watching it, but I don't have like the same memory of it. I just remember it being on. I can't.
Yeah, I remember.
Can't say any episodes.
Watching it as well.
Yeah.
The episode you described, Rob, sounds really familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Like as soon as you started describing it, oh yeah. And for the record, that was not Memphis Belle. That was Amazing Stories. I just looked it up.
Have you seen Memphis Belle? I know, let's not get sidetracked. We'll be in trouble. We'll be in trouble. But it has to be said.
Yeah.
It has to be said. There are some amazing things about this movie. And one of them is some of the cast, right? So the cast in the old couple being played by Hugh Cronin and Jessica Tandy, which are legends in cinema. They're actually a married couple in real life, and I think they were from like the 40s or 50s. But just legends in film. I mean, Hume is a Canadian. Do you guys know that?
I did not know that.
He is a Canadian. Originally Canadian. He was also in
I recognized Jessica Tandy right away.
I was just going to say, that's where I know him from, is Brewster's Millions. I love that movie, and I totally recognize him from that.
Yeah.
He's a great actor.
Yeah.
And Jessica Tandy's British. She was in The Birds. She was the mother in The Birds. She was both of them were in Cocoon, which is where I know them from.
Yeah.
Cocoon.
Yeah.
Another movie which
that's why this movie reminded me of Cocoon.
Yeah, because they were the main stars. Yeah. And again, a movie which I don't think we've done. Hint, hint. I think we should. I'd love to do that again. Obviously, Rob doesn't.
I will watch any movie you put in front of me.
Rob doesn't like good movies.
Obviously, an Oscar winner too with Driving Miss Daisy, right? So, I mean, some serious talent in there.
Here's a morbid fact about the cast. I IMDb'd it.
Why are you doing research, guys?
I can't help it.
Research.
7 out of 8 of the cast on IMDb, they're dead.
Yeah, they're all dead.
So I said that's a morbid fact.
The only one left is the guy who played the artist Mason, Dennis Boutsikaris, or whatever his name is. He's the only one left. And if you don't know,
the Steven Spielberg stand
look-alike, yeah. The Spielberg, and almost McCready from The Thing, right? Looks a bit like McCready from The Thing as well, with that long hair and beard.
He just when he's painting and he puts that cap on, I'm like, oh, holy crap, they're really leaning into the Steven.
But he'll always be lawyer number 15 from Law and Order. He's played so many lawyers. It's crazy.
He's also in Better Call Saul, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Better Call Saul is his latest thing he's done. So
as a lawyer.
I mean, that not so much the actors that were in it. I mean, it's who was behind it that got me, and I thought that there was a lot of people in the production part of it which have done some amazing stuff. Now, we had Spielberg, Kathleen Kennedy, and we all know what they've done and what they've achieved, right? But we also had the screenplay by Brad Bird, who has done some amazing stuff, and Iron Giant, Incredibles, Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, right? So that guy's done some amazing stuff. The music, like I said, The music in this was by James Horner.
Yeah.
I mean,
Aliens.
Aliens.
Rocketeer.
Jamie, the Rocketeer, right? So,
that's it. Thank you.
Jumanji, Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan, all this stuff, right? So again, another legend part of this.
Love the music in the movie.
And special effects too. We had special effects guys in there. I don't know if I'm going to get his name right. Ken Pepio, who worked on Gremlins 2, Predator 2, Gary, just another one. But did you know?
I had a question. Sorry.
Yeah. No. I was going to say, did you know? Obviously, ILM are behind the ships, the robots, the little dudes, whatever you want to call it, the Weems. But did you know that it was Ralph McQuarrie that was actually behind the design of these?
I did not know that.
Nope.
I did not know that.
It makes
that
sense, though.
Well, that was going to be my question, because I knew the Spielberg's attached to it. I didn't do that research. I didn't know who was doing the effects behind it, right? Because those little guys, like, they could be ships from Close Encounters too, right?
The fixes.
They really reminded me of that.
So
I did notice that Joe Johnston was a second unit director on this as well. So, like, he's a old school ILM guy, and then a really great director in his own right. He directed Rocketeer and, like, the first Captain America movie. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
So were these little ships, like, they were living things, or they were ships that held living things?
This is what we don't know.
Yeah, because he zooms in with a magnifying glass and you see all those little lights and stuff. And I was thinking, oh, it's microscopic. They're all part of it. Or it's maybe just, it's part of this thing that just uses it like a hermit crab. It just kind of becomes the ship. And
yeah,
I like that they didn't explain it.
Yeah, and me too.
Explained.
But that's what I really enjoyed about the movie.
It's almost like Close Encounters, where, you know, we, in the original release of Close Encounters, we never got to see inside the ship, right? You just have to use your imagination. And then they did the director's cuts and the other director's cuts where you get to see inside the ship, and then it's this huge, great city inside of a ship. Yeah, it kind of throws you off a little bit, because you're not sure at this point. Is this just a load of little dudes in there that jump out? Because the other thing as well is he had a little ramp that came down like a spaceship would. So, you know, I don't know, but I love the fantasy behind it, man. It was cool.
Yeah, but that cute little ramp, it was like a conveyor belt. It's, you can feed it. It's just like you're feeding all the little things that goes right in the mouth. I can deal with that. You know,
yeah,
conveyor belts in my mouth.
Yeah, it was cute and it was fun. And I remember being a kid and just being blown away by this. You know, with the effects back then. I mean, now when you watch it now, you'll see the blocking, right? You'll see the blocking, you'll see the background. But back then, it was cool. It was believable, and they really. I think you can tear me up on this one if you want, but I think they sold it. I think the actors sold it. It was actually quite enjoyable. That scene when they first see him plugged in and it jumps out of the plug and zips around, everyone's getting into it. You know, the whole scene when they're in the cafe and they're all helping out. I think it was sold well. I think it was good. It was enjoyable.
I wondered, like, nowadays when they do all the CG and they have the guy with the stick, like, look at the ball. Like, was there somebody going around with that? Like, look at the man with the hockey stick. That's an alien.
Well, I think Frank McRae, the big guy, the boxer, I think he was really the big selling point when it came to making these things look lifelike, because of his heart and his caring and the way he would hold on to it and just put it in his pocket. I thought he really sold the realism of it. Yeah,
I mean, you mentioned Frank McRae. Other movies you may have seen him in 48 Hours and Last Action Hero.
Yeah, the yelling.
And
he was in The Wizard.
And The Wiz. He was in The Wizard, man.
Right.
How do you forget that?
But the Last Action Hero one makes me laugh.
Yeah.
He was one of the truck drivers who beats up the pedophile guy.
Thank you.
He was the one playing in the casino when the girl is yelling what to bet at him when he's playing craps.
That's right. Thank you.
What a total change, though, right? Even from Last Action Hero.
I love him in that Last Action Hero. Yeah, nothing to be said. Captain in Last Action Hero is great.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good, so good. And then you got another one who passed away, which I shouldn't laugh about, but you're right. They're all dead, unfortunately. Elizabeth Penner, who played the pregnant mama. Mm-hmm. Now, looking into what she had done and whatever, because I want to see something that everyone else might out there recognize. But the one thing that she was, do you know what do you know her from anywhere? Do you recognize her from anywhere?
I remember her
apart from doing research, Rob.
No, I did recognize it before the research.
Recognize her from the first Rush Hour movie.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
I recognize her from
the bomb disposal tech.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jacob's Ladder.
Right. Yeah. I didn't know if anyone would get that one. I don't know if it's one of the Rob. Have you ever seen Jacob's Ladder?
No, I know it's about Tony Robbins. Oh, not Tony Robbins.
Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins. Sorry, Tony Robbins. I'm thinking the Successful Ladder, but yeah, Tim Robbins was. I remember that was it, and then I heard Jacob's Ladder, the song by Huey Lewis, and I thought those two were connected, and I was so wrong. So I just.
But she was also. I don't know if you ever seen that. She was Mirage, Syndrome's seductive right-hand woman in The Incredibles.
Oh, that was her.
Yeah.
In what?
Awesome. In Incredibles.
Yeah. Syndrome's right hand.
Really?
You know the mysterious.
fantastic.
Yeah, that was her.
She was really good.
So that was just another little tidbit. There wasn't many to find with this movies, but that's one.
There's a Brad Bird connection. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So the only other one that it's kind of sad news is obviously Michael Carmine. Died 2 years after making this movie, man.
Yeah.
So died really young at 30. Died of AIDS, unfortunately. So I mean, that's sad.
He was a great bad guy. I freaking hated him. He was so like you want to punch him in every.
He was a toe rag. He was the ultimate toe rag. A real ass.
He did a great job, but it was just like fuck. I hated him so much. So he did a great.
There was always something there, though, especially with him and Jessica Tandy's character. How she was constantly treating him like her son, Bobby. Yeah, and you could tell like he actually had a soft spot for her a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then
it's cute.
Yeah, and then right at the end, he goes to the hospital and he's got the flowers and the chocolates, and you can tell he wants to be part of that family, that group. Yeah. And they're like, fuck off.
Yeah. A little too late.
I'm just looking over at the chat. I always forget to do this. And Tony's asking who directed, and I didn't mention the director. The director is Matthew Robbins. I don't know Matthew Robbins, and I don't really know much of the work he's done. He's a classic Hollywood director who's been working since the 40s, I believe. Like done many, many amazing movies, but I didn't know much of the stuff, which is why I wasn't going to bring it up. But hey, Tony, that's who it was, Matthew Robbins.
He did actually an episode of Amazing Stories too, so I think that's where he got the nod from Spielberg. Here, take that, and let's make a movie out of it. So.
The amount of people that worked on this Amazing Story stuff is pretty cool. Looking into it, like I said, I've never seen it before, and I actually want to try and see a few of these episodes because I used to love Outer Limits and Twilight Zone. But I'd love to see some of it. They even had Danny Elfman doing music as well on there.
There were some big names in that show. I mean, the one episode I was talking about had Kevin Costner in it, and he wasn't before Kevin Costner became famous. He was making his way through things. So
was that episode about baseball?
No, that was the bomber. I think Estevez was in there.
That's Field of Dreams, Steve.
Yeah. It's one of many baseball movies.
Which I think is something that...
Weirdos say we agree with Steve 3. But
on what?
Everything, sir.
All of it.
Everything.
Oh,
life in general.
Everything all the time.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
How do you not disagree with Steve 3?
Rob, you were mentioning earlier, there's no way this can be a kid's movie. So I kind of agree with that statement after watching it now. I think it's because we're older now, like really old. But now the thing about Jessica Tandy's obviously having her, problems with dementia. Yeah. I think that one really, it seemed like they were going into that a lot. They were really pushing that through with her and her dementia. And I think it was to try and have the Bobby thing. I didn't know what it was trying to achieve at the end of the day. And I don't know how you guys feel about it. I understand it. I know why it's there. But what was so important about making sure we understood that she was suffering with dementia?
Well, I don't know if it was dementia. I think she was suffering from some sort of PTSD thing from Bobby's death, where she was in some sort of, I don't know what the clinical term is, but
I can see that. Yeah.
And then when she
in a denial or something.
Yeah, and then at the end she finally, comes to realize.
That was sad.
Which was
That was sad when she does realize. Yeah. Like it was interesting watching her dealing with her mental issues, but then as soon as the robots show up, it's almost like that it almost goes away and you see her as she was.
There were moments
it's kind of like when you get a dog, right? If you have a loss and you get a dog, you involve yourself in the dog and you put a little bit of effort into the dog. It was kind of like that. There was another thing to look after for her to concentrate on because obviously he didn't. Sorry,
there were moments. Sorry, no, I apologize. There were moments. There were times where she was like living in the here and now. That one scene where after the robots have kind of made their place in the home, they're both the husband and wife are chilling downstairs, feet up, talking about Roosevelt. And part of me was just like, okay, she's kind of back to her old self, but then throws in the old, why don't we hear about Roosevelt anymore? And so I kind of on both parts, part of PTSD, which probably accelerated the dementia sort of thing. And the reason I think we have a character like that is we can put her in a situation later in the movie where she becomes sort of the she's holding everything together and they need to save her, but also she's the unexpected savior of these robots. Nobody believes her. Nobody's gonna, she's just crazy. And all of a sudden she's the one that knows everything. She knows about the birth. She knows about the aliens. She knows what they need. She knows what they want. And it's just, I think that's it. It's that polar opposite that you play in with this movie. So that's the reason I think she had that.
Well, there was part of me at the end of it watching it this time that was, I couldn't remember watching it because I'm old, but there was a part of me that was hoping that, we got the fix-its. They're coming down. They're fixing all the problems. There was part of me that wanted her to be fixed. Do you know what I mean? That she would, that if it was, and I agree with you, it was kind of PTSD styling behind it. And I was hoping that the whole chain of events and even just being around these characters was able to snap her out of it and bring her back so that both of them could then just, live out this life that, the ultimate fix. Exactly. And that's kind of what I thought might have been missing from it, because it's
that's
great.
A good point.
I feel like she was fixed at the end, though. It was kind of for the worst, though, because it was sad when she kind of
snapped out,
gained lucidity. Yeah.
And I think in some ways, all of them were kind of fixed, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
And, Mason was a struggling artist. He was like about to give up on his art. And then I forget her name, the Pena, her character's name. Anyway, she's like, oh, your art's great. And she gives up on this deadbeat boyfriend and finds Mason. And then they all sort of get their stories, fixed. If you want to, I hate to use that term, but
repaired,
mended. They
mended. Nice word.
Things, and every single character gets mended when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. It was quite a lot. For me, it was quite a lot to watch it again. It took me out of that fun thing I remember as being a kid, because I felt really quite sad about it. And again, that's why we question it being a kids movie now. But when I was a kid, it was absolutely fantastic.
And I want to dive into that a little bit. Because the reason, put aside the fact that you see boobs in this movie. I mean, just slide in some boobs in a kid's movie. It's still boobs. You talk to any woman with a picket, any mother with a picket sign outside a theater, they're going to tell you that's what it is. And so you got that. But also it's just like, and I know this sounds kind of weird, but there's no kids in this movie at all. There was no kids. And that, as a kid myself, when I saw this movie and I saw Jessica Tandy and Hume Cronin, knowing they were from Cocoon, I'm out. I just don't care. There's just about two old people. It starts with old music, with old photographs. This is for old people. And the target audience immediately from the beginning is directed towards kind of like the parents who are really not into sci-fi movies at this time. My parents were probably not watching this movie. And my grandparents were definitely not watching this movie. They didn't care about this sort of stuff. So, but you have these aliens and these rocket ships and stuff. It's just like, that's a kid thing. And I think if they would have had a lot more success if they kind of kidified it just a little bit more. And I know some people are saying, why is everything I'd be directed toward kids? But that's kind of, I felt, what this should have been. And I think it would have had a lot more.
Do you think that's got something to do with it being a story from the Amazing Stories, though?
I think it's got to do with that, but it's also got to do with this fact that we're at this period of time where people are directing movies, they're trying to find that balance of who's the audience. The 80s and 90s, it's kind of muddled in a way. It's just like there's certain rules that are being put in place for structure of a certain child movie or a kid movie, and what fits what box. And I think that's where this one was kind of. If this was made today, we definitely see it towards kids' movies. If we've seen it before, I think it would have been less successful. So it was before its time, I think. But at the same time, it was of its time because I think they casted it wrong. So
I think I totally get what you're saying. I agree that having no kids in it for kids' movies interesting. But I think part of what you're saying is why it feels that way. It's because it is a Spielberg production, and Spielberg is all about the good feels and the nostalgia, right? So he's coming back from his nostalgia of the New York downtown. At one point I was like, am I watching West Side Story? Because it's the same setting, right? Like all Midtown or whatever, New York's been demolished and there's just one building standing. But it's that Spielberg thing again, where he goes back to those happy feelings and nostalgia from his youth that gets worked into these movies and everything.
Hey, Weirdos say Hollywood rarely puts older characters at the center of sci-fi narratives. And I think if you were to make this a kid's movie, you take out Tandy, you put in Macaulay Culkin or whatever, some other kid at this time. And I think that would be it can run by itself. It can run with the grandfather, and it can run with a smart ass kid, and that's usually it. And Pena can follow in there and stuff like that. It's just I think that's where the difference is, and I agree with the Weirdos a little bit. You put Elliot in there, it becomes a kids movie, and I think it have a lot more success attracting the audience. But it's a well written movie. It's got a lot of potential. It's just, for me, I can see why I never watched this movie as a kid, because there was nothing that appealed to me except for Aliens, and there's a whole bunch of other movies like that.
Even the advertising for it was not really like blow you away that it was going to be robots and spaceships and aliens. It was the two old people laying in a bed and a spaceship coming through the window, which is like, what the hell's going on here, right? Yeah. If you go elsewhere in the world, you'll see all the Japanese posters and everywhere else in Europe is all about the robots focusing on the Weems, the fixes with little Weem, the little one coming out. So they definitely pushed it towards the spaceships rather than the story, I think, in other parts of the world. But again, it did pretty well at the box office, man. 65 million from 25 is pretty good, Number 4 at the box office is not a bad way to go.
The last thing I want to say with this, and I'll promise I'll drop it, but I remember around this time, the 80s, if we think about I wrote this down, Masters of the Universe commercials. When Masters of the Universe He-Man action figures first came out, the commercials were very adult-like. It was a man talking to the parents saying, your children will love these Masters of the Universe action figures. And so they immediately forgot their audience until later on we see like Star Wars and G.I. Joe. It's the kids having fun in the commercials instead of some old guy telling parents, buy this for your kids. This movie is take your kids to watch this movie, as opposed to kids, ask your parents to watch this movie. And I think that's where the difference was in this. And I will get off my horse here.
No, I mean,
Rob.
The thing is, we usually razz you and say, God, Rob, you don't. But I agree. Watching it now, it definitely, there's something weird about it. I mean, think of some other scenes in it. Think of the arsonist scene. Like, they go into detail in that arsonist scene, and that's terrifying, right? If you're a kid watching that, even when Carlos is attacking people, they don't hold back, smashing a door down and grabbing a woman's leg and like saying, take the money. That's kind of crazy. There's, like you said, questionable things like painting her with her boobs out. Why did we need to see that in there? What did that do? And I don't know if you noticed this, but from that scene there, it looks like they're really getting on, and things are going to change for these two. It goes nuts. he comes back drunk as shit and angry. And there's
and
no
goes
reason
through her apartment.
to
Breaks through her
all the
apartment.
pictures.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I remember saying, what is this? What's happening here? What did I miss? Like,
I think the most controversial thing is robots fucking.
Wow, that was one of my
dragonflies.
Yeah. Well, that was going to bring me. That was going to bring me to my next question, which is favorite scene.
Well, that was one of my favorite lines where he's like, "What are they doing?" And she's like, "Can't you tell? Wink, wink.
Let's watch."
Let's all watch the crowd.
Yeah, bring
they're all
everyone
hovered around that box,
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, dancing and fucking in a shed on top of the little pigeon coop on top of the building.
That's what all the plugins
dirty
and
little
ports are
robots.
for.
Yeah.
Plugins.
But all of those stuff we're talking aside, I think it was still enjoyable. And you must have a favorite scene that you can give me, or a scene that a memorable scene that you can give me. Rob.
Jamie.
Me? Oh, okay. I've been talking too much here.
All right, you know what? Jamie. Shut up, Rob. Jamie.
I like the diner scene. Especially like when the diner's fully back up and running with the robots helping out. And the construction guys who are meant to be demolishing the building eating in the diner.
Yeah.
I especially liked the inverted burger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the two patties.
That was funny.
He almost eats the little one.
Yeah. And then they send the burger back and he holds up a picture of a burger. He's like, "No, like this." Yeah, that was funny.
I also like
Allie Williams says hi. Hi, Allie Williams.
Allie Williams. I think I know her.
I think you met her before.
I know her.
Yeah. I like the guy that drives the bulldozer. How the brim of his hat, it wasn't curved, it was like folded. It was like a 90-degree peak.
He was a
What's up
proper
with that?
worker.
Yeah.
It's the 80s.
He has to go under that hard hat, right? Steve, what about you? Let's keep Rob quiet.
Well, can I touch on? I like the little scene where he pulls up the magnifying glass and he's looking in to see the little world. But I also like the little. I mean, it's really cute. But where the mom alien or whatever is teaching him to fly in the staircase, and then the one's like clinging on. She pulls out the circular saw and cuts off the tread in the stair.
I thought he was going to cut off the legs or the arms. I really thought they'll repair it later.
I can put my arm back on. You can't.
Oh my god, that's an old Paul. I love it.
Deep cut.
What was it? OnStar? No, what was it? Astar.
Astar. Play safe.
Astar, the robot.
All right. Seeing you start talking again, Rob, what's yours?
Oh, that was actually it. There was a scene where Mom pushes him out of the nest, sort of idea. And while that's all happening, there's what's his face again? The boxer. I'm blanking on Frank. Frank is just there, just trying to.
Harry.
Sorry, Harry. Yes, Harry's there trying to save the little robot and bring it back to life, and then the robot comes and saves the day. I thought it was really adorable.
That was a cool.
It reminds me. I don't know if anybody out there remembers this. Maybe this is a Canada thing, but McDonald's used to have Happy Meal prizes and stuff like that. They used to have the box the Happy Meal came in was no longer a box. It was an actual flying saucer that was a green color, a red color, and you put stickers on. And these little flying saucers remind me so much of these little Weems. And so I remember these Happy Meal flying saucers as a kid, like a young kid. I think it's before your time. I think because I got a couple years on Hose Nose and Jamie, but it was so cute, and I just remember that. So that's what I was thinking about as I was watching that scene.
Yeah, I like the both the sad and the joy of the little one that came out stillborn, and then Harry grabs it and just takes it because he's good at fixing things. I love that whole point, and I love it when it drops into the sink and all the detergent and all the stuff goes into there with the water and it starts bubbling. It reminded me of like Gremlins, Gremlins when he jumps into the pool and it all starts bubbling at the end when he's in the fountain. It reminded me of that. I kind of like that one. That was fun. I also like the scene where he goes after the guy who's setting all the fires, doing the arson stuff, and he just comes running across and tackles him on the top of the stairs. They both go flying over and he stamps on his leg. And the next thing he's trying, my leg, you broke my leg. I can't get up. I can't show you. And he just gets up and runs back to the car. That cracked me up. That one was like, you dirty little bastard. you know. And also with Harry putting on the boxing gloves and getting revenge. I mean, now of all times, it's great to see someone getting revenge on a bully, right? It's fantastic. That one was cool.
What's the thing they call when it's this, not Schrodinger's cat or something like that? It's about the gun, Chekhov's gun. It was Chekhov's right hook.
Boxer. Yes.
Was it right hook or left hook? I think it was right hook.
Right hook.
Yeah. I was waiting for that to happen. I was very happy about that.
Do you have any more scenes, the ones that you can think of?
Are you doing quotes?
Anyone? Yeah, later.
I got a couple. Okay, then I'll save it for.
If no one's got any more scenes that they wanted to mention, then we'll get into quotes. The one other scene I want to mention is one that stuck with me, and the one that I can remember when I first wanted to watch this movie, and I don't know why, but to this day, the scene where they give him the Christmas lights, and Harry comes up with the Christmas lights and takes them, those little bulbs clinking together, that sound has stayed with me my whole life. And Christmas lights will always be batteries not included. The little clinking together of those glass bulbs, because they really accentuated the noise. The bulbs aren't even touching each other at some points, and they've got that tinkle, clink, 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 clink going on. So yeah, I love that scene when he's feeding him in there, and that's going to stay with me forever. I think it's a weird thing, I know, but that's the one thing that stuck with me. The batteries not included. And with that, we'll go back to Jamie and we'll do some quotes.
Oh, I had another scene.
Oh shoot! Okay, speak up, fella.
You guys were talking. I like the ending scene where they show the big skyscraper, but it's got that big gap.
Oh, where they pan out.
Oh, that is a good
visual. Yeah, and it's just the one building, the old building in the middle. And I like the foreshadowing with the developer where he's got the table model and he pulls that section out. Yeah, that was a great payoff seeing that. I loved it.
Which is based on reality. There's a little old house from like 1900s or whatever down in Seattle. It's in Ballard. I can send you the Google Maps and check it out. And they built up around it. It's amazing.
That's Up, Steve.
That was the inspiration for Up. I did a little research on that. Yeah, it's totally cool. It's totally cute little cottage right in the middle.
I'm looking at it right now. That is so weird.
Yeah. It's true. It's true with what you posted up there. Ali did cry 3 times. The thing is, I don't think she'd ever watched it before, so I had to gauge it, right? And I'll do that. I'll gauge it. I'll keep looking over, and she'll be on her phone. I'm like, God, this must be so boring. She's on the phone again, right? So, as the story started to get into it, the phone went down, and then at the end, when things were getting, kind of sad, I can always tell when I'm sat on the couch. It's like the moisture gets pulled out of the room, and I know something's going on, and it gets a little bit hot, and I'll just look to the side, and she'll look away, and it will be tears. And that happened 3 times in this movie. So it must be a fairly decent movie. It hits the emotions. It plays with the heartstrings. See,
Tony loves the sound of glass bulbs.
Isn't it? Yeah. It just sticks with you. It's the sound of glass bulbs, and it's the smell of the old foil. I don't know what you call them. Like the decorations used to open up, and they were flat, and you open them up, and you pulled them around and connected them to the opposite side, and they would be a decoration like a bell or a snowflake, and they were all made of foil. And that smell, the tinsel smell, it's never going to leave. It's probably because it's got lead in it or something, and it's just in my brain. But yeah, that sound, man. That sound.
I've got one more scene, and it's for a different reason. It's at the 1 hour and 39 minute where they're all looking up at the brand new building. Because in the background, I don't know if anybody clocked this, Luis Guzman is one of the extras. And I took a screen cap.
Luis Guzman.
Yeah, I mean, see that? There he is.
Oh my God, there he is.
And it was hilarious just to see him like doing that. Well, they're all pointing and talking.
But hey, I don't know who this is.
You don't know Luis Guzman?
Who's Luis Guzman?
He's a pretty
what's his most
semi-famous character actor.
I'm trying to figure out what's the best thing. Like I know Luis Guzman. I'm trying to think
he was Gomez Adams in Wednesday.
Yeah.
I mean
he was great.
He's been in tons of stuff. I can't name it all off the top of my head, but he's been in tons of stuff. They even have him on Community. They're a great show. Yeah. There's a statue of him at Greendale Community.
I feel bad because that's where I remember him from. And he's not even really in it that much. He's mostly just got a cameo here and there. It's mostly just a statue.
All
He's
right,
a great character actor.
Let's get into some quotes. Anyone have any quotes? I mean, I don't think it's a quote-filled movie by any stretch of the imagination. So anyone got anything that stands out of a quote or something that was said?
There was two for me.
Just the robot fucking. That's it.
What's this, Steve? What's this?
It's docking. They were docking.
They're docking.
Yeah. Rob. Sorry, no, Jamie, Rob, you got to be quiet. Jamie.
I don't know if I can remember any quotes off the top of my head. I thought it was really funny when, they're sitting around in the diner and she's like, "Oh, you never hear about General Eisenhower anymore." Jessica Tandy's a great actress and she really sells those moments. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was Roosevelt.
All right, come on then, Rob. Give us the two.
I feel embarrassed now. I'm pretty sure I wrote this down right. There's one. This is the 80s. No one likes reality anymore. I thought that was pretty funny. I wrote that one down.
Right.
I got a second one, but
let's do it. No one's got any more. So
it's just when the two people were arguing about the letter, like Pena and the artist were arguing, and she's writing a letter to him. And it says, "Dear Mason." Not out loud. That's all it says. It's just, I thought that was pretty funny. It was a nice little gag.
He was pretty funny. Sorry, I did. Oh, sorry, Steve.
No. Carry on.
I was just going to say, sorry, I had to cheat a little bit just to jog my memory, but I did like the line about the miracles, which I'm reminded of. He says the quickest way to end a miracle is to ask why it is or what it wants. That was a good bit of writing there.
There was one bit of dialogue that stood out for me, and it was when they were all sat around the table before they get the bread box ship, which was fun scene with the ship in the bread box. You know what I mean? Okay.
Yep.
So they're all sat around the table, and Marissa says, "Maybe this is all a dream," and Mason says, "Well, if this is a dream, which one of us is having it?" And then Frank goes, "Hey, don't look at me. I stopped dreaming a long time ago," and that just cracked me up. That one just cracked me up. But
I like Jessica. I like Jessica Tandy's line about the little umbrellas in the drinks too. Do you know why they put the little umbrellas in the drinks? So when it rains, it doesn't water down the liquor. Yeah. I just imagine her getting shit faced on a beach.
Good.
That was pretty funny.
Pouring rain.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really. Sorry, I apologize. I'm interrupting. Go ahead.
Thanks. I am gonna throw one more. Before we get to the end, I'm gonna throw one more in there. Favorite fix-it. Who was your favorite fix-it? Which one was the favorite for you? You've got Flopsam, Jetsam, Weems, and then the mum and dad.
I like the fact they were called Flotsam and Jetsam. That's kind of cool.
Rob, I mean, tell us yours.
I just it was the one that Harry saved. It was cute.
Weems.
The runt.
His name was Weems.
Yeah, the runt is. Oh, is that what his name was? I thought they were all called Weems.
No, they were called Fix-Its. And Weems.
I thought they were all called Weems. I'm sorry. Okay, I misunderstood. Yeah, well then I liked Weems. So.
Yeah, you know Weems when it was on the prop store a couple of times, and the last time it was up on the prop store, it was for $10,000 to $15,000.
Yoinks!
Is that the one that Adam Savage was?
Adam Savage played with Weems. I don't know if it's the same one that was up because prop store gets a few things in of the same model or character or whatever you want to refer to it as. But yeah, Adam Savage does have one that has all the wires going up the puppet sticks and stuff. So
favorite line from the Weirdos is, I don't know. I think they're Democratic. That's good. Always goes down to.
All right, Rob's got Weems. Steve.
Real Sophie's choice here. I too shall pick Weems. He was the cutest out of all of them.
I like the dad. I thought he was cool. I like the design.
Yeah.
And maybe it was because it reminded me of the UFO from Close Encounters. Yeah. But yeah, the design was really cool. And I liked how expressive he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I think the interactions we had with him is probably because of that, because there was a lot more interactions. We see him, doing all the work, getting all the stuff together, getting angry, getting happy, getting chopped in the face with an axe, getting repaired. So yeah, I agree. I think it's the the father figure ship, if we can call it
I
that.
think they did a great job with. Sorry, I was going to say I think they did a great job with how they were expressive.
Yeah,
just with the eye work, right? That was really well done.
I think it was on Adam Savage's show where I think it was there that the guy from Prop Store said that this was one movie that Ralph McQuarrie actually built some models for, and he very rarely did that. Apart from the sketches, he actually apparently built some models. I think it was on Adam Savage's show.
That's cool.
When they talk about that. But when I went and did the tour at ILM in San Francisco, they got 3 of them. I think it's 3 of them in a glass display case at ILM. So they've still got some of the original ones, which is cool. And I was looking everywhere for the photos, so I could have it as my backdrop. I obviously didn't take a photo. I think I walked along there with everyone I was with and said, "Oh, it's batteries not included." And everyone was like, "Huh?" So yeah, So I didn't have time to get my phone out because they were walking on to the next Star Wars thing. But yeah, it was cool to see that. It was cool to see that. And I think that's why it's been stuck in my head again. I don't really have a lot more. There's nothing. I was hoping to delve deep into the construction and the puppetry and how long it took to do the special effect. There's really not a lot else on this movie. It is what it is, short and sweet. So I think I can wrap it up there, to be honest with you.
Should we rate it?
Yeah, so let's do the scores. Let's go around the horn, starting with Jamie. Jamie, out of 10, how would you rate Batteries Not Included?
I think I'd give it a 6.5 out of 10. Sorry, I was kind of flip-flopping
because we always pick the same scores.
Do we? Oh, did yeah. That's
Steve,
fair. It doesn't surprise me.
What do you give?
Well, I also am a follower, and I was going to say 6.5 as well.
Okay.
I just want to be like Jamie.
Yeah.
I want to be like Jamie too, but I'm going to say 5.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me,
I can't see myself watching this anytime soon.
For me, it really held a lot of nostalgia running up to watching it again. I watch it again, and I do feel that nostalgia watching it again, but it's a totally different movie this time around to what I remember watching. Yeah, and I think 100%. With that, I think 6.5 is a really good score to give it, because I would give it a 7, but I agree. I think 6.5 is good for this movie. It just
There's
doesn't
a lot to like there.
Yeah,
like
there is a lot to like. There is. Yeah,
like the spaceship designs are awesome. The puppeteering work is great, and the special effects. The acting is really good.
Yeah, it's a cute story.
To me, yeah, the overall story felt a little bit muddled. Like there wasn't like a really solid kind of through line, and it ended up being a little bit dark and sad. Not that makes it good or bad one way or the other. It was just kind of surprising, really, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. I think of all the stuff that we review and like the criteria you have in it, I think a 7 would be fair, but I think it's a 6.5 because I don't need to watch this again, to be honest with you. I mean, I really don't. I mean, I've seen it now again, and it did bring back.
I enjoyed watching it again, though. It was fun.
Yeah. I didn't buy it, I'm probably not going to rush out. But now I said that, though, I'm probably going to buy the special edition Blu-ray just to have it, because you can't trust streaming. But yeah, it was good. It was definitely, for me, it was great to go back down through memory lane. And just, that's what we do this for, man. Just to see how things are when we watch them again with slightly crapped out brains than we were when we were kids. So yeah, thanks for joining me on the journey. It's really good. So with that being said, that gives us a bit more time, because we haven't gone over. We got a little bit more time. So I was thinking, while we got some time, and after we were talking about this in previous shows, why don't we do what excites us?
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!
Oh wow.
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 Ah, I'm so happy I can't even feel my arms! Oh my god!
Oh my god.
So freaking excited!
Oh my gosh, I haven't heard that song in so long.
I haven't heard that in forever.
It feels longer when you're just sitting here waiting for it to end live.
So for those that have been long-time listeners, and for those that have not a clue what we're talking about, we used to do a little piece where we would talk about what we've been up to, what's been exciting us, what was been catching our eye or our fancy during the course of the last time we spoke. So let's do this. Rob, I am going to start with you.
Mine's gonna be quick. I'm super excited. I've been live streaming this. Live streamed it twice yesterday. Power Washing Simulator has Wallace and Gromit update, and I'm like, I love Wallace and Gromit. It's been forever since I've seen it, and I was a huge Wallace and Gromit fan when it first came out. So when I heard out of the blue Power Washing Simulator doing a Wallace and Gromit update, and I've only played 2 levels so far, and I want to do all the levels online for just because I want people to see it, all 2 people that tune in, and Tony's one of them. But it's just like it's kind of fun. You guys know how much I love this game, and Tony agrees. Yes, so good. I love this game, it relaxes me. And so when I play this game and just see how cozy everything is and how it brings me back to watching Wallace and Gromit for the first time, it's fun to play. And so
are you watching Wheels of Cheese?
I haven't watched any single slices of cheese yet. That's the weirdest thing. I've watched the first level is the inside of the house, and so you're at the table, the breakfast table with the roof there, and the kitchen, and a moving train. And then second level, you're outside, and there's the pond that flips over and stuff. So it's yeah, I'm only on level 2, and I'm assuming there's going to be some cheese somewhere involved somewhere.
Tony says it gets so clean.
Oh my gosh, I'm great at making the place clean, man. I'm professional. One day they're going to actually allow me to power wash things in real life, and I'm going to be so disappointed.
You can just go to the car wash, Rob.
I've got a power washer here. Next time you come over, my deck is filthy.
That'll be my price to pay for staying over.
Yeah.
You and Jamie can just stay inside, drink scotch, play some games. Rob's going to be outside screaming around in circles with the power washer.
Fuck yeah, man!
I love this shit. I love this shit.
I love this shit.
That's awesome. Steve, what about you? What's new in your world?
I don't know, but I'm excited to watch season 2 of Severance. I don't know if any of you
I hear that's good.
It is amazing. Awesome cast: Adam Scott, John Turturro, Patricia Arquette, Christopher Walken. Ben Stiller's an executive producer and directed a whole bunch, and it's just like this. You don't know what's going on, and it's got a little David Lynchian feel to it, and it's such a cool premise. It's a great show because we're watching. Amy and I are like, we love shows where you're trying to like decipher and figure out the clues and what's going on, kind of like Westworld and other stuff like that. Awesome show, so great.
Awesome. Jamie, what about you? What's floating your boat?
I don't know. I haven't gone out much, but I've actually started rewatching Mythbusters.
Oh, me too.
So like speaking of like a bit of a nostalgia trip, yeah, that's been a ton of fun rewatching old episodes. And then rewatching Daredevil to kind of get Christine ready for watching the new show. Then video game wise, replaying some. I'm revisiting Diablo 4 a little bit. There's a new season on, and also replaying Spider-Man 2 and doing a bit of virtual Ghostbusters tourism.
Nice. I too have started Severance. I'm not done with it yet. We're working our way through it. It just it takes up some time, but I'm enjoying it. I agree with everything you said, Steve. It's very intriguing. And I found that with the same thing when I watched Silo, the first season of Silo. I was like, well, I got to figure this out. What are they doing? And that's what gets you excited. But yeah, Severance is so well filmed. It's just so well filmed. I don't know how to describe it. It's intriguing all the way through.
Yeah. Are you on the first season or second season?
Yeah, first.
Okay.
So yeah, we haven't even got through the first one yet. So we just started that. That's our next show to try and get through after doing Silo. But I've also my maximum time in front of the screen has been taken watching or rewatching the 1978 British sci-fi TV show Blake 7. I got BritBox and I'm watching Blake 7 again, and these episodes are an hour long almost. And man, it's British theatre on TV at its best, and I'm loving it.
Look at that! I'm just I'm remembering all the pictures from Blake's. I've never watched an episode, but I remember how they looked. Yeah, it's very 70s.
I've never heard of this before.
The ship is amazing. The Liberator is probably to me one of them. I like ships. I don't know if you know that, but the Liberator to me
look at that thing.
Is one of the best ships they had in 1978 for crying out loud. terrible special effects. But what a great concept. It's the concepts that we see repeated time and time again. You know, the imposing government shutting you into a thing and trying to stop you from thinking for yourself, and you got to break free, and the rebels are out there trying to stop the Galactic Federation from being its evil self. You know, it's so bad that it's really fucking good. And,
you know what that ship looks like to me? It looks like the TIE Defender.
Yeah,
with
I
the 3
agree.
points.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who stole that? Who stole it? Right? It's Blake 7 first, man. 1978. You know. It also looks like what I remember from a show in England called Blue Peter, where it was like a kids show and they showed how to make things and they go out and discover things. You know, like a kids' afternoon show after school. Well, they showed me how to make my Blake 7 communicator bracelet. And they also showed you how to make the ship out of 3 fairy liquid bottles and an air freshener stuck on the back.
Nice. It's fun and it smells
So
good.
Yeah, I always remember that, man. Same with the clicking lights.
So, Steve, you kept telling me about a show called Spaced with Simon Pegg.
Correct.
And so
yeah.
I
Dude,
watched
that show
2.
was so good.
Okay,
Yep.
so you gotta help pump it up because I watched episode 1 and I was freaking bored out of my skull.
It's you,
You
Rob.
got to give it more than one episode.
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
give it more than one, but I'm just
Remember
help me out
Amy's
here.
rule of 7.
Yeah, is it 7? I was going to ask.
It was Amy's rule of 7. You
Yeah.
got to give it at least
Right
7
now,
episodes.
I'll say
7
this, Rob.
episodes, like an hour long. Almost,
Yes.
I'll
isn't
say
it?
this. It's like a generation is not wrong. And the generation that I was growing up watching Spaced every night on Friday on Channel 4. I think it was a Friday or a Saturday night, late at night, because this show only went out late at night.
Mhm.
It was like living your life through Spaced.
Oh,
Now, I
can
also
see
will
that,
say
yeah.
that 1 or 2 episodes is not going to let you fully establish your characters. So you've got to watch it all.
7 episodes.
You've got to get through and the second season.
Got to get through it. Okay.
The second season, they do they do what they do to make it even more enjoyable. Oh my god, look at that thing! Even more enjoyable is they base the episodes on movies.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not reliving the movie, but they base it on movies, and you pick up on all the nuances of the movie, and it's so much fun. But once you get to know Mike, once you get to know Brian,
he's great.
Once you get to know Marsha, Daisy, and Tim, there's no going back, man. Like, I don't know. Steve,
Rob, have you? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Steve, have you seen Spaced?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Where are you watching it, Rob?
Tubi. It's free.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Have you gotten to the episode where
I've done episode 1.
Simon Pegg choose out that kid for wanting the Jar Jar?
No, I know that scene.
Shot.
I totally know that scene. And that's why I'm
oh
like,
my god!
I'm kind of
care if you save the boy your 50
for the
Gs.
scene.
You weren't there. You
don't know.
It was good.
Get out!
Yeah, get out!
It's just the way it cuts to him, and he goes, "Phantom Menace."
Okay, I'll keep trying.
When the kid runs out, he's just like, what does he call the kid? He's like, what an asshole.
Yeah. The flash. I love the. We're gonna ruin it for Rob, but it doesn't matter. The flashback that Tim has later when he has a flashback and it's him running out the comic book store.
Yes. The kid so crying and then him crying, running out when he gets fired. God. So good. Man.
So good.
Like
so
I'm liking
good.
Simon Pegg's character. It's just everybody else is surrounding him, just like,
Well, even Mike, right. You haven't got into Mike yet.
You don't like
Tires?
Tires. I'm waiting for Tires. That's what Steve keeps calling me Tires.
Yes, it's accurate.
So I've seen him. I've seen him now in like real dramas and stuff. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That scene when he's at the crossing. That's all I'm going to say.
And he's holding up the traffic. Yeah.
And when he comes around and they just shit themselves and they got to stop the toaster, they got to stop the kettle, they got to stop anything that makes noise. It's so good.
All right, I'll keep.
I'm glad you're watching it. And if you get to the end of that season and you don't like it, then we need to also know that because that.
Well, I'll give it 7. That's a lot.
7 episodes.
It's not a lot.
Amy's Law.
Well, yeah, well, Amy's at the boss of me, but I do respect Amy's taste, so I'll give it.
It's the same as watching
not even
Star
a matter
Wars.
of taste. That's just fairness.
Yeah.
You got to give it a fair shake.
Animation. No one watched animation because they watched the first 2 episodes of Clone Wars. Right?
Time is money, man.
You know, Got into that shit. First season is always a builder.
Yes, I agree with that. Yes.
Clone Wars, Rebels, same thing. 7 episodes.
Marsha, I just think of Marsha. She's just so good.
That's all you see.
Hello, Brian. I haven't seen you up in my area for a while. Oh God. All right, that's cool. I don't think there's much more. I mean, that's what we're into. That's what we're doing. Jamie's also getting into Micro Galaxy Squadrons, the Fool. So that's good.
Yeah. First one.
Start small. It's only upwards from now.
It's gonna be hard to get in Canada, dude.
I know. It's gonna be hard to get anywhere, I'm sure. So, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm glad you're open it, dude. It's not supposed to stay in a plastic box.
Oh, I will.
Open it. Play with it.
Yep. I will.
Pull off the wings. Release the pilot.
Make a Blake 7.
Yeah. I challenge you to watch Blake 7, Rob.
No.
All right, that's cool.
Not 7 of 7.
I'm glad we could catch up on that. That was fun. Glad to hear the intro again. That was also fun. Thanks again for joining me on this journey. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us on this journey.
Thank you, everybody.
And if you did watch it again, good, well done. And I'm sorry, all at once. And Jamie, where can we find you?
You can find me on the ongoing YouTube series on our Generation X-Wing podcast YouTube channel called Ready to Believe. We actually have some pretty big news coming up, so that's cool.
Yes.
So we'll share that at the appropriate time. But big things are coming. I'm excited.
Sweet. Steve, what about you? Where can we find you?
You can find me on the gram, as the kids say, at Hose Nose Paints for all your mediocre D&D minis. I still haven't done a lot recently. I don't know. There's too much other stuff going on. I'm distracted with printing things and all other sorts of stuff, and writing campaigns and all that. So,
dude, you're still being creative. That's all that counts.
Yeah.
Rob, how about you? Where can we find you and everything else to do with the Generation X-Wing show?
I'm distracted by Aaron being in the chat right now.
Joey Pants?
Joey Pants. Wow. How you doing, sir?
I'm hoping is he talking about the movie we've just reviewed for the last hour?
I'm assuming he's talking about the movie. Yeah.
Okay.
But he's watching something else. He's like,
he's just, hey guys, I love this movie. You're not watching what I'm watching, but you got.
He's watching Shawshank right now.
He's watching Waterworld. That's what he's watching.
No.
So I have been teasing what Jamie's talking about. Stay tuned, please. It's some really cool stuff coming up when it comes to Ready to Believe. Also, I put out a new video of Outer Rim Rookie for Fan Expo Day 1. I'm working in Day 2 when things die down at work, and I'll hopefully get that out soon. It was great to see the Weirdos there, by the way. So thanks for popping by, Weirdos. And check out the Weirdos as well. I put a link in our video about they did Day 1 as well for Fan Expo. And other than that, so Instagram, Facebook, and the YouTube show Outer Rim Rookie.
Right on. And you can find me on Instagram, shitsback'emupifar. I'm trying not to get political, but it's really hard to stay away. So there'll be some fun stuff coming up. I'm pumped and psyched to get to WonderCon. I love WonderCon. WonderCon to me is my favorite cosplay convention, which is weird for some people, but to me, it's always going to be my favorite. That's coming up at the end of March. And I'm going to make something to have some fun with it and do something a little bit out of the ordinary. I'm looking forward to that one. So stay tuned. I'm probably not going to put anything up about what I'm doing, so it'll be a surprise. But there'll be other stuff up on there. I promise. We'll keep it fun. We'll keep it happy. And if not, just pop on over to Steve 3D, and I'll be doing some toy stuff because MGS is coming out with some more amazing ships. I've just picked up my Return of the Jedi shuttlecraft, complete with Rebels and Han Solo, which is so cool. So I'll probably unbox that one and see how it compares to the Emperor's. It's supposed to be an older code. So we'll see.
Ooh, I was eyeing up the Emperor one. That's one of the ones that I can actually get my hands on, so I might have to.
It's pretty cool, and I've just designed a stand for it to sit on top of, so you can actually display it too. So,
you got to have the wings folded down, right?
Yes, you do. Yeah. Again, thanks to everyone else for joining us. We're going to sign off now from this show on Batteries Not Included. I've been your host, Steve3. It's been amazing. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Elbows up.
Elbows up. Elbows up.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the end of the audio. So you got to do an intro now, Steve. Or can we do something about this camera? It's
yeah. Sorry, I keep moving.
Wait, I'll do it with mine.
I there is a way of switching it off, but yeah, every time I move it wants to keep up with me, and I've been rocking around in my chair.
It's hard to keep up with Steve 3.
It's impossible.
Look at that. It's just,
isn't it great though?
It is great, but
a little
over
distracting.
You need like
here.
you need like a bullseye though, like it's a some cyborg
Over
tracking
here.
you, right?
We sell bullseye
A
shirts.
little like RoboCop.
Oh, now it's just
Yeah,
freaking
totally.
out. It's
And now look at its zoom capabilities. It's so good.
it's not zooming, sir.
It's kind
Oh,
of
What do
good.
you mean it's not
It's-
zooming? Look at
it's-
it.
Well, I
it's-
can,
okay,
I
there
can
it is. There
kind
it
of
is.
see things.
Yeah.
Get
That's-
out of
I-
here. That's amazing.
I've seen
It instantly
Ewok.
comes back.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I can't switch it off now. I left it switched on. So yeah, I can't switch it off now, but I can switch it off and I will. But it's a great camera.
So well, hang on. Can you or can't you?
No, I can, but I need to get into another bit of software and switch it off. I think.
Gotcha.
I don't know the special command because you can do all these commands to make it do things and center itself. And
Weirdos don't mind it, so if they
that's
don't
because
mind
that's because they're down with the cool kids and they know what's up, right?
it,
So
I'm not
Screw you,
disagreeing
Rob.
with that.
screw you, Rob. Hang on, look, watch.
Loser. That's what you're doing.
Yes, a little hair. Yeah, you look
Oh,
great.
it's not doing
Steve.
it now.
Fantastic. Yeah. Look at my new camera.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, intro. What number are we on?
We are on 454.
454.
That's a 4, 5, and then a 4.
All right. Any time, I'm guessing.
Anytime you're guessing.
450 what? 454, right? Okay, 454. I honestly forgot.
Oh my god, are you serious? Are you kidding? I can't tell if you're serious or not.
You said 454.
I thought you were messing
right?
around.
Listen, Jessica.
It's on the
you're
top
gonna
of the
have to
screen.
just kind of start eating some brain
It's on the
food
top of the
here.
screen. Oh yeah, it is on the top of the screen. 454. Okay, good. All right. You ready? Everyone quiet. Rob.
Right,
Zzz. All right. It's episode 454, and you have the pleasure of me as your host, and we will be talking about the 1987 sci-fi drama comedy Sad Tale of Batteries Not Included.
You did well. I tried to
Tired.
distract you.
Fucking
All it did is made me
a
nauseous.
rave, right?
It's like watching Steve's camera right here.
Did we get it?
I never muted you once. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you get what you need?
we got you on the show. It's all we need, sir. All right, we're good. Wrap her up, Buttercup.
I just
We're
did.
Clear.
Are we clear?
I
We're
guess
not clear.
Duane stream. Okay, I guess I'm ending the stream here. So thanks everybody.
Bye.
Weirdos, please check out the Weirdos video. It's like we do all this stuff like behind the scenes of the 501st, but the Weirdos like see all the booths and all the cool stuff and all the great things you can
Like
buy.
the convention
So,
that it is,
the
not just
convention it
501st.
is. Yeah.
The things we
Fan
never
Expo's
see.
not just the,
The stuff
501st.
we never see.
Yeah.
So yeah, so check out those videos.
Chained to the booth.
Thanks, Tony, for tuning in. Trust
Yeah,
me,
Tony.
Tony, you're gonna like what's
Weirdos.
coming up.
Thanks for
Guarantee it.
coming in, Aaron. See you later. Bye, Ali.
Thanks,
See you
everybody.
All
soon.
right, we're gonna end stream now. Bye.